What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. Now, I see this article we're going to take a look at yesterday, but I didn't have time to go over it, so we're going to do it today because about 100 people so far, I think, have sent it to me via both Discord, email and Twitter. This is of course talking about the Independence article regarding the poll that said the majority of the UK wants to remain in the EU now, only weeks before the withdrawal date, which I'm sure, as you will all know, is a load of toff. This is a poll we're talking about. So as everyone the world over knows, a massive pinch of salt needs to be taken when you're looking at polls, especially ones commissioned by certain groups with their own agendas, much like the Independent here. So let's take a look at this ridiculous article and go over the absolute nonsense that they claim. It headlines, Brexit. UK public wants to remain in the EU, new poll finds, weeks before withdrawal date. Which is complete nonsense, as we will see in a moment. It reads, Boris Johnson is set to take the UK out of the European Union at a time when a majority of voters wanted to stay, according to a new poll. The BMG survey for the Independent found that, with less than 3 weeks to go before Brexit Day on the 31st of January, voters are split by the highly symbolic margin of 52 to 48% in favour of Remain, the reverse of the result in the 2016 referendum, which, as I'm sure you will all know, is absolute nonsense. Because obviously they didn't ask the whole country that question, or for that matter, just the amount of people that voted in the referendum back in 2016, to make the claim that the country now thinks the reverse of what happened in the 2016 referendum. It said participants also expected Brexit to be bad for the economy, the NHS, the unity of the UK, and Britain's place in the world over the next 2 years. Yes, because the EU makes every part of all of those things there so great, doesn't it? It's incredible. It's not like the SNP haven't been trying to break Scotland off for the last 20 or 30 years, is it? It's not like we didn't suffer the banking crisis in 2008 while part of the EU, or any other one of the shitstorms that have occurred since we joined. All of those things get conveniently forgotten about, I suppose, when you're the Independent with your agenda to push. Almost 3 in 10, 29%, expected to be personally worse off as a result of EU withdrawal, while just 15% expected their finances to be improved. And more than 4 out of 10 wanted the chance to vote on rejoining the EU within the next decade. 18% saying a second referendum should be held within a year. 15% in 1 to 5 years, 9% in 6 to 10 years. 10% said no new referendum should be held for 11 years or more, and 28% said there should never be another one, while 20% didn't know. So what that goes to show you is that there's a fair old proportion of not just Remoaners, but rejoiners, who are probably worse than a Remoaner, but essentially two cheeks of the same arsehole. And I expect the 20% that said they don't know more than likely just don't care. The article continues, there was little sign of enthusiasm for leaving the EU at the end of 2020 without a trade deal, with just 11% backing this option against 39% favouring a deal on future relations and 27% on continued membership of the single market. Well, not many people like the single market at least, but still, 27% is a lot. Must be the Labour voters. The Prime Minister is attempting to forge a Canada-style free trade agreement with Brussels within this very tight timescale, but has vowed to leave without a deal rather than extend his deadline. And I'm sure he will, because he knows if he doesn't, his political career will be over very swiftly. He will end up being a backbencher at best, much like Maybot is now. Mr Johnson's 80-seat majority in the 12th of December election has been taken as a mandate to make good on his campaign promise to get Brexit done. It's not been taken as that. That's what it is, you fucking idiots. But the vagaries of the UK's first-past-the-post electoral system means that by a margin of more than 1 million, more British voters backed parties calling for a second EU referendum than supported those arguing for withdrawal without a confirmatory vote. Once again, that is incorrect, because every single SNP voter did not vote for the UK. They voted for the SNP because they want to leave. not because they want to stay in the United Kingdom, so they cannot be considered a Remainer party. They are a nationalist party wanting independence. It's absolutely incredible that these Remainers will take on board the SNP when it suits them. They are by far the most nationalist party in the UK as it stands. So to consider them Remainers and adding their votes to your tally is absolute bollocks, and I'm not having it, I'm sorry. But now we're going to start hearing a little bit more about the survey, which will show that this survey is absolute bollocks, as I'm sure you all know like I did before I even read it. The BMG survey is the latest in a series of mainstream polls stretching back more than 2 years, which have found a consistent majority for Remain. Yeah, of course they have. I expect they were the same polls that said there was a consistent majority for Remain before the referendum that you lost. I do absolutely love the Ramoning bullshit that these newspapers and political shitweasels come out with on a daily basis. As I've said many times, we are going to be salt mining this shit for many years to come. Asked what they expected the impact of Brexit to be over the coming 1 or 2 years, some 52% said it would weaken the union of England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, against just 13% who said it would be strengthened. It's not going to weaken anything, nothing is going to change. Some 45 said they expected the UK economy to be harmed, against 29% who had predicted an improvement, and 39% said the UK standing in the world would decline, compared to 28% who said it would rise. Some 29% predicted a harmful effect on their personal financial situation, while 15% expected it to improve, and 38% said Brexit would be bad for the NHS over the next couple of years, against 25% who expected it to be beneficial. And here we finally get to the bit that proves this article is a complete load of shit, like we didn't know it already though. BMG questioned 1,508 British adults between January 8th and January 10th, with that poll there being commissioned by The Independent, which leads me to question, who did they ask these questions to? My guessing is likely independent readers. So as I said to my Discord yesterday, The Independent itself is not exactly known for being impartial. As a matter of fact, this newspaper and its cumbucket journalists are about as independent as the Ramoning tosspot who stands outside Parliament. You know, Steve Bray, the Ramoning Stop Brexit wanker that we have all heard multiple times on national television screaming his bullshit, much like this article has been doing about their absolutely nonsensical poll. I mean, it takes a level of reaching that I have never seen before to consider 1,500 people speaking for the entire country. But I guess when you're The Independent, anything that promotes Remain is always fair game. But on that note guys, I am going to end this video there. It was only supposed to be a quick one just to bring you this because I thought it was absolutely ridiculous and deserved me to shit on it. I have started doing live streams and uploading gaming related content on my second channel when I have some free time. So if you want to come over and have a chat during one of the live streams, have an interest in gaming content on YouTube, or just want to support me there because you are a legend, you can subscribe to that channel using the link in the video description below. It is greatly appreciated guys. But as always, I want to thank our YouTube, PayPal, Patreon and Subscribestar members for supporting the channel, along with everyone who watches my videos. Remember to let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Leave a like, subscribe with a notification bell and share this video as it helps the channel a lot. And I will see you all in the next one.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors. Slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires. And that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going and we are glad to be going. We're off.
Ramon! Ramon!